Now you should be able to just kind of swing it pretty freely.
When you talk about the beginning, like, what do you mean? Like how far back we going here?
Okay. Let's just start. How about that?
Okay.
All right.
Try it, yeah.
Okay. You comfy? Get comfy, everybody?
good.
All right.
We're good.
Welcome, everybody, to our very first long-form pizza talk. I am your host this time, Andy Thomason, the general manager of our Florida location. And, of course, I have with me our owners, our leaders, Joe and Jennifer DiMaggio. Joe, Jen, how are you guys?
Doing great.
Sweet.
Really good.
You doing good?
I'm fantastic. I just spent the entire morning setting up this in my house. We are tearing it apart for a remodel. So life is chaotic, but good. To start, let's just go ahead and just get right into it. Now, I want to start just from the beginning, and I'm sure you guys get asked this question a lot. Like, go back from the beginning. And I know sometimes it can get kind of tiring to just tell this same story over and over and over again of how we've been a pizzeria for over 50 years, and we've seen how far that we've come through building different buildings, going through different locations, going through change of ownership from Joe, from your dad to you. But I'm talking specifically about you two and your journey. So let's go back to the beginning of that. Where you have talked before about you both worked at DiMaggio's, right? Whenever you were teenagers,
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
So
I started when I was 16.
Okay, and were you just like a cashier girl or a waitress?
I started out as a bus girl.
Okay.
Yeah. So I bussed tables.
And Joe, were you just making pizzas?
No, I didn't. I wasn't that lucky to start out that at the top like that.
Okay.
I was the go get me stuff guy.
All right.
Hey, go get this. Go sweep the floor. Go.
You're the gopher.
Go do whatever I tell you to do, so I don't hit you.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Okay. Talk us through the transition from bus girl to gopher boy to pizza maker to now we're dating, now we're married, now we have kids, now we have a legacy that we're building. If you're comfortable, I mean, we got time. I know sometimes, whenever we ask that question, it's, how much time do we have? Well, we got a little bit of time. So if you want, just share however much of that you want.
Okay.
You can go ahead. You start.
Gosh. So I started out as a bus girl. So I bussed tables, cleaned off tables, whatever the servers needed me to do, I would help them do that. From there, I moved up to being a cashier. I did that for a while. Just kind of learned the ropes. Then you moved up to a server after that. So I did that for a while. And, I went away to college. Joe and I didn't start dating until actually I was in college.
Right.
And then, we dated. We dated, got engaged, and married in 9 months.
Wow.
So, but, we knew each other before then. We were
Yeah.
really good friends. So it's kind of like one of those things like when you know, you know.
How old were you guys?
When we were married at 23, both of us.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Lena she's about to turn 20.
She's about ready to turn 20.
Do you ever talk to her about, imagine in 3 years from now getting
Well,
what that would be like?
Recently, she was like, okay, Mom, I'm getting ready to turn 20. She's like, I could be married and have kids in like the next 5 years. And I was like, oh, I don't want to talk about that. But
Yeah.
it's exciting, but for her, it's scary. And, we think we'll be great grandparents. We'll be the best.
Oh,
not
yeah. Joe, what was, share with us that, your upbringing from the gopher doing the dishes. That seems to be a very common trope for a young person being raised up in the quote unquote family business.
Yeah, I mean, anybody out there that's grew up in a family business, not necessarily just a pizza place, that when you start out as, I can remember as far back as probably 10, 11 years old, just being at the pizza place and, just doing things for my dad, washing dishes, even though I didn't know what I was doing or wasn't even tall enough to reach the sink at the time. Just doing that type of stuff. Then, the employees, hey, Joe, go get this, go get that. And just learning. And that's how I learned. It wasn't really, hey, I'm going to teach you this specific way or this specific process. It was just mainly by just doing what we just helping, going there and helping out and doing that. So, it was just my story. I don't think it's very that interesting to myself, but maybe to somebody out there it is. But, I started out doing that and then just working my way up. I worked in the kitchen at a very young age. When I say the kitchen, because at Fairfield, we have 2 kitchens.
Yes.
We have the pizza kitchen, and then we have the kitchen where we make the sandwiches and the pastas and stuff of that nature. So I started out making the pastas and the sandwiches and all that stuff. And, I was 13 years old doing that, and I feel like I was doing it well, or else I wouldn't have been in there.
Right.
It's true.
So,
Or you just won by default because no one else wanted to
that
do
probably was half the problem too. I probably just So did all that stuff. I just learned. I learned everything from just everybody that was there, all the employees, my father, obviously, and and then I tried college for a stint. I was going to go and be a chef because I thought, I could be a chef. I hated it. It wasn't the chef part that I hated because I got into school and for some reason they weren't teaching you chef stuff. It was just take this history class and take this math class. I'm like, I don't want to take a history class and a math class.
Right.
I quit.
You're like, I wanted to
To
cook.
get into it right away.
I wanted to get into it. I wanted to start working. That's what I went for, and I didn't. And so I think I gave that up maybe too early. I don't know. But I just didn't want to do the math class and stuff. So got out of that, went back to the pizza place again. I think I've told this story to some people. I bounced around a little bit. I went to Michigan for a little bit, worked at a restaurant in Michigan.
Wow.
Tell them the
What was?
name.
Yeah, I was to say, what was it
The
called?
name of that place was La Dolce Vita. It was an Italian restaurant, and it had a lot of Italian specialties. It had a little bit of pizza, but that wasn't their main thing.
Okay.
And so I worked there, worked in the kitchen there, got to learn a lot of stuff. I did going there because I was about 18 years old when I went there. It's like I thought I knew everything because I came from DiMaggio's Pizza in Fairfield. And I got to La Dolce Vita, and I was like, I don't know anything.
Okay, so growing up in an Italian American family, did you ever get out of Fairfield though? Like prior to this?
No,
This
prior
experience?
to this, it's experience. I just graduated high school. I have family in Michigan, and I wanted to go be with my cousins in Michigan. So I was like, I'm going to go give this a shot. And so that was it. That was like my, that was it. That was my only thing. That was my ticket out of Fairfield. I was like, I'm going to go see my cousins in
That's
Michigan.
crazy.
Yeah.
And did it go well?
It went decent.
I mean, you came back.
It went decent. I
you
think
did.
I missed my family. I missed everything.
Okay.
And I just kind of so I spent about 9 months, I think. I don't know, it was less than a year there. I went to Henry Ford College for a little bit for chef school. And then plus I was working at La Dolce Vita. So, yeah, it was an experience.
I've had similar experiences. Not many people know my story, but Taylor and I, we moved across the country experiencing different things, even if just for a small period of time or a season. Those experiences that you have, they change the way that you perceive the culture around you that you're born in. And coming back, sometimes it gives you a new appreciation, I guess, for the family that you had. You said you missed your family, and then you come back and you realize, oh, I really do enjoy being with my family, or I really do enjoy this community that we're in because of these reasons. I remember whenever Taylor and I moved, I used to think I wasn't into outdoor stuff, but that was just because where we lived, the majority of the outdoors were cornfields.
Yeah.
And I have a serious allergy to corn dust, and so I couldn't go outside very often. But whenever we stayed some time in Maine or Wisconsin, I started kayaking and checking out, hiking and different things like that. I was just thinking, oh wow, there's really something here to take hold of. And then whenever you move back, well, we got places like Samdale, we've got places like Forbes, we've got I'm sure if you ask around somebody's grandma's got a pond that nobody fishes at or something, you know what I mean? And you come back with this new appreciation of, okay, where can I find this stuff that I liked at these other places? Because that stuff's just everywhere,
Right.
You just have to find it.
Exactly. Yeah. But I'll tell you one thing. In all these places I ever went and traveled to, I would always ask, where's the hot pizza joint? And we'd go to the hot pizza joint, and I just always had to compare it to DiMaggio's. I would just always be like, yo, this is really good, But one of these days, you got to come back to my place and try out this place. I've been a diehard DiMaggio's fan from as long as I can remember. I just remember my parents always taking us there, getting a pizza,
Or we would bring it to youth group.
or you guys would bring it to youth group. Let's go back a little bit. So you spend some time in Detroit. You come back. You meet the love of your life. You guys get married.
Not yet.
Oh.
Not yet. So, I mean, you get a little too fast forward. So anyway, that was 19 years old. Come back, and I want my own pizza place or whatever. So it's like my father ends up buying the pizza place in Salem off of an uncle that went back to Sicily. I was going back to Sicily. So I end up over there running that.
Okay.
So I end up in Salem. So I come from Michigan back to Fairfield. I probably wasn't, I don't have the exact timeline because that's not like I wrote it down, but I probably wasn't back for very long, 6 months. I did some stuff, revamped some stuff in Fairfield and in the kitchen layout.
I was there during that time too.
In the kitchen layout, so we got a little bit more efficient in the kitchen. We got up to the modern time at that time. And then, so from then, I've always been a person who wanted to like create my own path and want to, and not just hang out and wait for somebody to hand me something. So I think I probably was kind of in my dad's ear. Hey, let's get that place. And so my dad does it, and we get over there, and I run that place for. I think I was there about a year, maybe
in Salem.
In Salem. And then my uncle in Carmi at that time, he was going back to Sicily as well. And so he had called me, and that place over there is a little bit more established and had been there since 1974. 75. And so I was like, hey, I told my dad, I said, hey, I know this is a great opportunity, but I want to go there now so I can make some more money. So I found a manager, got him situated in Salem, and I packed my stuff and moved to Carmi, Illinois.
Okay.
And then I was in Carmi, Illinois for 1 year.
And you managed that store?
And I managed that store with one of my uncles. We did it together, and I did that for 1 year. And then during that year, Jennifer and I kind of got together. That's when we got together. And then from Carmi, after the year I was up in Carmi, I opened up a place in Grayville, Illinois.
Okay.
So Jennifer and I did that together.
Yep.
And then shortly after we got married. And and so then I was there. We were there for how long, I think? Maybe another year?
Year and a half.
Year and a half. And then sold that to an uncle of mine because then I was buying the place off of my father.
In Fairfield.
And now, that's where we're at.
Oh, yeah. What year was that when you bought Fairfield?
We bought Fairfield in 05 maybe, or 04?
Officially 05, yeah.
Yeah, 05. Wow. So we bought it in 05. Where were we at, 26?
26.
2026. So, and then, here we are now.
That's
we have a
crazy.
place in Flora as well. We just opened up a few years ago. And, yeah.
I think, okay, so going back to you, I remember first hearing this story about you managing Salem, and something that really resonated with me, and hopefully this resonates with other people, is this process of you didn't just, you made like what I would call a calculated risk of you wanted to go out and do something. But if you went out and did your own thing, totally separate from, what DiMaggio's was already doing, if you say instead of pizza, you were like, I want to do chicken wings. I don't even know how popular chicken wings were back then, but say you did, and you open up this chicken wing place in Salem, how well do you think that would have went? That happens all the time with entrepreneurs is they think, oh, I want to go do my own thing. I want to, and I want to start this thing now, mine. But you followed this process.
Yeah.
So you brought it up with your dad, and you said, "Hey, I think I see this opportunity, and I think that we've got some serious opportunity here. What do you think?" And I think that process of following that, I don't want to say chain of command, but that kind of that hierarchy, I think that was something that really helped. To me, I feel like that was something that really could have been a pivotal moment that set you up for future successes.
Oh yeah.
Because after that, then you build up that confidence of I can do this. I can, and then you go into Carmine, and then you go into Grayville, and then you have all this confidence to I can do Fairfield.
Right.
I can do that.
Well, and the thing is when I look back at it, I was very young. I mean, going into Salem, I was barely 21 years old. I mean, 21 and then 22, and then 23. Like at 23 years old, I bought the place off of my dad. So it's like it's a very young age that I did that. And going, looking back, I see how little I did know, even though I knew a lot because I had been a part of the DiMaggio's brand, with my father for my entire life because I never really worked outside of DiMaggio's. So I had all that in me, but I still didn't know a lot. But I'm glad that I did choose the path that I did, and I've grown through that, and we've grown. And the biggest thing I think that's really helped me is like I'm not too prideful enough to lean on other people for help and get people opinions. May not take them all the time, but like at the end of the day, like my wife, and that's the thing. Everybody looks at me about building this thing. I've not built this alone. This lady right here next to me has done a lot of work.
Mama Jen puts in the work.
Yeah, she puts in the work, and she puts a lot of work in behind the scenes and that people don't see, and that I don't think that it gets enough credit. And I think without her, I can say DiMaggio's brand probably wouldn't be as well as it is right now.
Right.
I mean, I do bring a certain element, but she brings a lot to the table.
Well, what Joe does for me is like he pushes me because like I'm like one of those people like, okay, I don't like to be stretched very much. I mean, I'll get there, but it takes me a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But he can see things before I can see them.
Right.
So he leads me in that. So, and I think that's important because like every place that we've opened or been to or anything, he's the one that's done the layout of the pizza place. Like he's the one that's figured it out. Even like our remodel in Fairfield, like we knocked out walls, we did all this. We had, some people that we knew in the construction, business help us with that. But Joe had that vision of this is how I want it to look. And I think that's really important.
Yeah, I'm mainly the visionary. Like I have the vision. I have like, okay, this is what I want to do. This is how I see it. And then Jennifer's like, okay, but how are we going to get there?
Right.
How are we going to do this?
Right.
Because she's not like as big risk. She's not a big risk taker to an extent.
I mean,
but when I do have a good idea, she does tell me, hey, how come you're not going for it?
Yeah.
You need to do it. So she's not that big of a risk taker. And I think it balances us out. Like I've grown to appreciate that. In the beginning, I was like, just get on board. Let's go.
Right.
You know what I mean? Come on. But then now as I'm, older I get, I'm like, okay, that's a good perspective to have. I need to think about those things.
Right.
And so now I do lean on that from her. I'm like, okay, I'm going to think about what she's saying because, I don't want to, I try to get a lot of the obstacles that we're going to have out of the way before we start.
Yep.
Because once I go, I want to keep going.
Same.
I don't want to stop. So it's like, and she helps like, okay, but what if this happens? Well, what if this, okay, all right. Let's think
I try to
about
think
that.
of all the scenarios.
Yeah.
And I think
The worst ones first. Let's get to.
yeah, we can go all into that. But yeah, I'm like worst case scenario person because I want to be able to prepare for that if it happens. And then, but I don't know. That's
I get it.
You get it.
But no, with your, like I said, with your story, doing Salem and then doing Carmine and Grayville, I think there's something to be said about that. I wouldn't necessarily call you an apprentice during those times, but it is very similar to what most people can probably consider an apprenticeship type format where you're just working it and you're learning it and then you're growing in it and you're making your mistakes. And then whenever it's your turn to go, then you just go full send. And I just think we live in a culture and an environment where entrepreneurship is so prevalent. Everybody wants to do their own thing. And I understand that. I get that. Mm-hmm. But there's something to be said about, okay, if you want to be a famous musician, maybe go, work in a band. Maybe go work for a sound guy. Maybe, maybe go do, whatever. If you want to work in a restaurant, if you want to own your own restaurant, maybe work in a restaurant.
That's where I think, and those are great points, because that's just where I think that's the divide, okay? Because what it is you have people right now that want to start their own thing.
Right.
For the simple reason, and this is where it's wrong, for the simple reason, because they don't want to go work for somebody else. And I would always say, and this is how, and I've said it, like, I would tell you, if you want to start your own business, go and work for someone else for a year or two.
Yeah.
Take your pride, set it on the shelf, and say, I'm going to dive in. I'm going to buy into your vision. I'm going to help push you along. I want to learn as much as I possibly can. Because if you just go and start your own thing, you have no idea. I mean, go start for someone that doesn't even know what the heck that they're doing, because you're going to learn a lot of what not to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you might learn some of what to do. And then you can take those experiences with you when you start your own thing.
Yeah.
And I've always said it, and I just think people need to, like go work for someone else. It's the most humbling thing that you can possibly do, is go work for someone else and help them achieve their dream. And then I think, when you go do your thing, you're going to have so much knowledge of what to do, what not to do, that you couldn't learn in school or someplace else, or doing it for yourself, because it's like, well, and that's another thing. People, when they go work for themselves, they underestimate the amount of work. I mean, I can tell you, like, all this story that you hear that we just told you. I mean, the nights, the weekends, the sleepless nights, the stress, the anxiety, the financial tension. Like, you're not hearing any of that part. Yes, are we successful? Yes, but we had to crawl, we had to sweat, we had to claw, we had to do all those things. And
we made mistakes along the way.
We made mistakes,
We made
huge mistakes.
I'm sure.
And it's just like,
You hired me.
That was
good so far. But yeah, I mean, those are the things that you don't see. You just think entrepreneurship is just something that's going to be so glamorous. It's not.
Yeah.
90% of the time, it's not.
It isn't.
But that 10% when it is, it's like it makes up for the 90 that was hard. A lot of things that we do with DiMaggio's, it's not just to be. I mean, it's not to be the best, like, pizza or food place, and yes, I mean, we want to make the best pizza for our customer and have the best experience, but we do it like primarily to add value to a community.
Right.
We want to be a positive force in the community, and that's why, I mean, we do what we do. I think we've always done that. Been a part of Little Leagues, been a part of, so many organizations that we have given to, and been a part of family celebrations, birthdays, weddings, rehearsal dinners, even the bad times, even funeral dinners, like we're a part of people's lives in every way. And that's like, those are the things that I'm grateful for, because it's like, it's more than just the food and the being the best. It's not, because I don't look at it in those terms. I look at it like, what are we doing to contribute?
Right.
And if we can contribute in a positive way, then at the end of the day, it's a win for us.
I agree wholeheartedly. I find it so frustrating in the time that we live in culturally, that you hear people talk about that, and that sounds so strange, or it sounds like there's an ulterior motive behind it, or something. You hear somebody it's like, we're trying, you know what I mean? And to hear that and to thinking that there's some ulterior motive behind it. No, I just feel like success is the byproduct. Have we been successful? Absolutely. I think we've been incredibly successful. Yeah. We were just talking a couple weeks ago about our first year here in town. Great first year. We had a great first year. And we're excited for, this year to come. But I think that's just a byproduct of the simplest thing of, I just want to provide a good meal for someone that's convenient, that tastes good, and that their kids are probably, or them or their kids, they're going to remember this at some point to some capacity.
Well, and to your point, Andy, it's like, because you can tell the different entrepreneurs from, if their heart is truly to be giving back, because you said an ulterior motive. Right. Okay. Well, some entrepreneurs, and I'm not giving anybody specific because I'm not, I don't have any specifics, but like they're
but it's possible they're out there. Yeah.
They're out there.
Yeah, they're out
there. They're out there. I just don't want to dog on anybody.
Yeah.
But you can tell they're just in it for the money.
Right.
And that's it. They just want to turn a dollar. They don't care what they do. They don't care about positive experience. Right. They just turn in the dollar. We all want to make money.
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah.
I'd be lying to say if we didn't want to make money.
No, yeah.
But at the end of the day, like you said, you hit the nail on the head. It's a byproduct of what we provide to the community. And that's what I'd rather it be, the byproduct than to be the product.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's how we want to. And so every town we go into or wherever we go from here, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make the community a better place in providing that experience.
Absolutely. Well, and it's Taylor and I will go and we'll visit different towns, and you go and you see new subdivisions that are being built, and you go and you see, oh, they got a Chick-fil-A now. It seems to be the progress of the town is dependent on whether or not they got a Chick-fil-A. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they got a Chick-fil-A, something's going on in that town. But Taylor and I will talk about what is it that's making this town grow. And I think, well, I think that there are things here that are adding more value to this community, and I don't think this is rocket science. That if you want your community to benefit, and if you want your community to grow, then you got to do your part. Like it takes all of us. It takes us to make this thing happen. And how many times have you heard, and not trying to dog on our community at all. I love our community. Actually, that's why we're here.
Right.
But how many times have you ever heard, there's nothing for our kids. There's nothing to eat. There's nothing to do, here in town. And I feel that sentiment 100% as a father, as just a guy wanting to do something, here in town. But then at the same time, I think, well, what am I doing about that though?
Right.
And to me, this is my effort, or this is my pursuit of trying to, what we've been saying this whole time, just adding tangible value to, to your community.
When they say small businesses are the backbone of their, of America, of their communities. It's the truth. You know what I mean? It's like what small businesses like ours provides to a community is huge. You know what I mean? So what we're doing, we take huge responsibility in that.
Right.
So we look at everything that we donate to very seriously because we want to be a part of the football team that needs pizzas or whoever out there that needs something. We want to be a part of that. And I just think, like you said, if you want to make your community a better place, it starts with you.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of the day, it starts with you. Like, you can sit here and say, well, certain politician needs to make this better. Well, wait a second. They can only do so much, but you can do something.
Everybody has to do their part.
You can contribute, and that's our contribution to society. Is providing a great slice of pizza,
right?
Right.
I mean, no, yeah, and to your point of the standards can only be set to a certain degree. So we have a staff member here, and we have our standards for how we want our food made, and I just feel like that guy just goes above and beyond. And we had a conversation one time where I said, it's okay for our standards to be here, but it's also okay for you to say, no, I want to do better than that.
Right.
And to go back to what you were saying about, the community and the policies and different things, our society is, they have that right to make their standards, but we also have our own right to say, no, I'm gonna do this harder. Like, I'm gonna try harder at this. I'm gonna try harder to just be a good person. I'm gonna try harder to love my community and try harder to benefit my community, to whatever capacity that I can do. It's okay for us to do that, because I feel like sometimes whenever you see a line drawn in the sand, you just want to walk that line. You don't want to go past it. And I feel like that's something that we always strive for. This is, going back to my just hardcore fandom for this company. For about as long as I can remember, and you guys might, I might be saying this stuff, and you guys just might be like, oh, I just thought he was making a pizza. But, I just have my perception of this business, specifically DiMaggio's, has always just been, we are trying our best to not just do good, but get better.
Right.
And just to keep going. Like, how can we make this better? How many times have we talked about dough?
Oh, it's insane how much.
It's stupid
I'm
how
glad
much
that
we
you brought
talked
that up.
about
Because I had that thought in my mind. Because, about the profit thing again. It's like, if we just wanted to turn a profit, I could make the cheapest
Oh, yeah.
pizza with the least cheap, toppings, and just the dough could be just
Crap.
frozen and trash. But we go above and beyond to bring you the best pizza possible. Because we care.
Yeah.
I just want everybody to know, if I could just get my heart and just lay it on the table, and just for everybody that's like we care so much that I go to bed dreaming about the dough and wondering how I can make it better, and the sauce and all this. I'm thinking about
We're
that
in
stuff
bed
constantly.
coming up with pop-up pizza.
Coming up with the next pop-up pizza, so people don't get bored with the menu. I mean,
Yes.
the times that me and her are back and forth, and we're at the
All
breakfast
the
table
time.
saying, "Well, what do you think, honey? Well, I don't know. What do you think?"
mean,
And then I'm saying,
literally,
"Why we got to do this anymore?" But it's because we want to, because we love the community.
Yes.
And her and I, we share this passion,
Right.
about serving and hospitality that we want. Like, we could just say, we're not doing pop-up pizza. You want that super deluxe? You can get that super deluxe. I'm not doing anything else from here on out. But that's not our heart.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
We want to always continuously, like you said, raise that bar.
Yeah.
Because the bar can be here, and we could be okay with that bar and make a profit at that bar.
Right.
But we want to do more because we want to provide more for people.
Right. And I think too is there's nothing wrong with wanting to add like a new experience to something. I mean, granted, we have our staple pies. You got cheese, you got pepperoni, you got all meat, you got your deluxe, your super deluxe, you got Mediterranean. We got these staples, and even a Hawaiian if you want to count that. We've got our staples that we've done for years, right? But at the same time, there's nothing wrong with wanting to add a new experience to, hey, you've never tried something like this before. Mm-hmm. Or even if you have, I guarantee it's not going to be like this. Or hey, this is an idea that we had that we think you guys would like. I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to share that experience with somebody. And isn't that what cooking is? And that's something that I feel like separates, what you were saying of the operation that we are trying to do here and what you might see other places. You put, like you just said, you put your heart into that.
Yes.
And that's just cooking. To me, if I make, there's something emotional, us being Christian, there's something even spiritual per se that's going on, that is this connection that you are having with this other person of, I made this for you.
Yes.
I'm presenting a part of myself to you. And that's why I feel like, and if you don't believe me, go to someone's house, have them make dinner for you and say, I hate that.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so if you go to someone's house, they make you, this was my mother's macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
And she learned it from her grandmother.
Yeah.
And they have passed it down for me, this macaroni and
And
cheese
then you
recipe.
say, well, I didn't care for that.
Yeah, that sucks.
I mean, that would just pierce you.
Oh, that would.
Like you're
It's a
at
dagger
that
in
point,
the
it's
heart.
like, I'm not the problem, you're the problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, no, buddy. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so you know what I mean is
Yeah.
there's so much emotion that you put, and it's crazy to think that, how many pizzas do you think we make in any given night? But part of us is in each and every one of those pizzas.
When you said whole heart, like I want an exclamation point, that whole heart.
Oh.
Because our whole heart is in that pizza or in that whatever you're eating from us. Like our whole heart is in it. And it's just like when I mean, it's to the point to where I peek my head around the corner when somebody's, I know I just made a great pizza.
I've seen him do
and
it.
I go, honey,
seen
stand
him.
here like I'm talking to you.
He
I
does.
just want to see them take that first bite.
Yeah.
And I sit there and I watch them and they take that first bite and then they just go
When
back a
they
little bit.
smile.
And they smile.
And he hits
I'm
me.
like, dude, we did it, man. And like, I do that all the time because that's how much heart and soul of mine is in that pizza at that moment, because we have labored and I have scientifically tried to pull out the best stuff to make that crust and to make that sauce. And it's just like, and they're eating it and then they're going, oh my God, that's so good. It's like, boom, man, we have won.
That's
there. And
so,
how many people do you know, entrepreneur-wise, or people out there in a small community? I mean, how many think like that?
Oh, there probably really isn't that many. If they do, then they don't have. Because so let me, so let's talk about this for a second. I tell people that in order to have a successful business, you need to have three things. One, you need to have a good product. Two, you need to have a better process. And three, you need to have the ability to persevere.
Yes.
So if you have a good product, right? And let's pretend that you do have that, you put that heart and that emotion into it. If your process, right, is crap, then you're not going to be profitable from it.
Right.
It's only going to cost you, and you can only keep losing so much before you're like, this is done.
Right.
I give this up, and then you lose that passion for it. And so something that once again, one of those things, diehard fan here. I just love that we have a great product, but our process, it's impeccable. You can get a pizza. You can get a pepperoni pizza. Shoot, I've even done a super deluxe. You get a super deluxe sometimes in under 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That's wild.
We pump out food.
Oh,
It's crazy how much food we can pump out.
I was trying to do the math. We did that catering gig for marathon.
Yeah. We did what? 198 pizzas, right under 200 pizzas.
Yeah, in what
Couple hours.
couple hours?
2 hours.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Yeah. I would say 2.5 hours.
That's wild. And I think, you know, it's easy to get lost in the product and to get lost into the, and it's not to say that we're not perfectionists. It's not to say that we're not trying to put out a good product, but it's so easy to get so lost in that you miss out on your process, and it's not helping anybody. You know what I mean? How can I be a beneficial part of my community? How can I add tangible value to my community if I have a great product but I can't repeat it well? You know what I mean? So.
Well, and I will say too, because I really want to say this is, you know, we know we don't get it right all the time.
No, yeah.
You know, we know that we're not perfect, and we know that we always have room for improvement.
Some dude was just listening to you saying, "I put my whole heart in that pizza," and that guy was like, "Really? Because I asked for this, and you forgot it."
And there's times when we get it wrong, and
Yeah.
when we take that feedback seriously. So when we get a review online or just somebody calling back or something happens, hey, we take that serious, and we're going to make it right to the best of our ability. We are going to make that right. So I just want to clarify, hey, there are times when we will get it wrong.
Oh, yeah.
But we're not going to leave it there.
Well,
though.
and we also, there's so many moving parts. Like, we cannot sit there and watch and micromanage every single moving part. Like,
Exactly.
we try to put systems and processes in place, but again, there's the human factor.
Oh, yeah.
Things happen.
Exactly.
We don't do it on purpose. We're not doing it maliciously. We're not trying to give you your au jus sauce with your Italian beef on purpose. Somebody had, like, literally,
It fell through the crack.
it fell through the crack.
no excuses.
No
it's just
excuses.
It happens.
It happens.
it
just
does happen.
But we want to make it right.
Right.
We want to know if we did something.
You call us back and tell us, hey, I didn't get it. You're
Hey,
upset.
let's make it right.
And I can feel that you're upset because, hey, when I go to McDonald's and they forget my French fries, I'm upset too. But you got to go back, talk to us, and we'll make it. I'll make you the whole sandwich over again, plus give you 2 au jus. I don't care because that's how much we appreciate, our customers.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and I feel like we go out of our way to make ourselves approachable in that matter.
Yes.
I'm a person. Your name may be Joe DiMaggio. Your name may be all over all these signs in here, but you're a person.
Yes, absolutely.
And you're an approachable person. Even though your Italian accent does make you sound angrier than you really are, you're an approachable person. How many times do you think you've said, "I'm not mad, I'm just Italian," or "I'm not mad, I'm just passionate"?
That's right. I've said that a lot, and I know I have sometimes I have the RBF. So, But anyway, for those of you
that know.
you know.
Yeah. If you know, you know.
You know.
Well, it seems like we've talked a lot about kind of where where we come from. I feel like we've covered some good ground, and it seems like we were even talking about where we are, of this idea that, hey, where we are now is we are doing the mundane thing of owning a business, and which I say mundane, kind of tongue in cheek, but it is, but it's a blast. It is a blast doing what we do, but still, nonetheless, just that on paper, that ordinary thing of just making pizza and just keeping it going, adding tangible value to our community, and quickly, I'll even add to that something that's on my heart is not only adding tangible value in a product, but adding tangible value in the staff, because my heart goes out to our staff.
Yes.
And I just think of myself whenever I was a 16-year-old kid and I wanted to have a job. And I think of, how much, whenever I left that job, what state of being was I in? How did that benefit me going forward? Looking back now, I see, okay, I developed people skills, I developed some confidence and, and comfortability around a kitchen, different things like that. But, these kids, it's easy to just think it's just a job. Mm-hmm. And so I try and relay the message of this is a job, but at the same time, I want you to really soak in something here. I want you to really take home, what are we, if whether or not I decide to stick this out for the long haul or I decide to go be a doctor, what can I take from this and put on my resume that's going to add value to, to myself personally? And so, that's what I mean about where we are presently of adding that value, not just in product, but just in this, in our company as a whole, and trying to build up leaders and build up, or even just build up just good, genuine people that take pride in their work. So that seems to be kind of where we are at this. Where are we going? What's the goal here?
Well, and I think that's a good question, and I just think I'm going to go back to about adding value. Like if we go and we open up more locations, which I'm not going to sit here and say it's not a goal of mine. Of course it is, but it's like I want to be adding value. I just don't want. I don't want to be a copycat of anybody.
Right.
So it's like if we go and do something, either in the same town or in a different town, it's going to be bringing something that's different. And that's going to be bringing something that adds value to that community.
Right.
So because I used to think in terms, I just want to get as large as I can, make as much money as I can, and that's it. But again, I think the older we get, the more evolved that I've become, and the more into my faith, because that's a big part of who we are.
Yes.
And that's what's shaping our, I think us moving forward.
Right.
I don't want to be a copycat. I don't want to be, a person who just, I'm going to go in there and do the same thing that the place uptown's doing, or the same thing the place. I'm going to rip off their menu and bring it on my menu. I don't want to do that. I want to bring something different to the table. So wherever we go from here, Andy, is going to be, those are going to kind of be the framework.
Right.
How do we add value to that community? And if we don't add value, we just go on to the next community.
Yeah. So I guess to me, how what you just said, if I were to not simplify that, but if I were to share that with someone else, I would just say, I just want to be me.
Exactly.
And I want to be a true form of myself and do something that I feel like represents myself in a way that is heard, and do something that is representative of myself in a way that is productive and in a way that is beneficial to other people. And like shoot, even if I'm not saying we're ripping off other people's menus or anything like that, but even if we were like, oh, that's a good idea. What if we tried something? Just taking something and making it our own.
Making it our own, because that takes me back to like, I appreciate tradition. I appreciate the DiMaggio's history.
Oh, yeah.
But I am not my father. I am not my uncles.
Yeah.
I am who God made me
Joe.
to be.
Yeah.
I'm Joe. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And we're going to do things. We're still going to adhere to those traditions.
Right.
But we're going to put the Joe and Jennifer
spin.
Switch on it, or spin on it, and that's what we're gonna. And I'm not gonna apologize about that.
No,
because God has made me who I am.
Well, and you shouldn't.
He didn't make me to be my father, and nor does my father want me to be him.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think me as a father, and I have kids. I don't want them to be me. I want them to add their own spin. Like if they take this later on down the road, like make it your own.
Right.
To honor me is to make it your own. Mm-hmm. You don't have to put a picture of me on the wall. Just make it your own,
No.
and then pass it on.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I guess that goes out to whoever's listening, whether just to wrap this up, if you are, if you're listening, if you're watching, and if you're thinking of whether you are an entrepreneur or whether you are just a customer or whether you're just a mom trying to make dinner at home.
That's right.
Do whatever you can to be beneficial to the community. Whether it's your house, whether it's your town, whether it's your church, your school, your job, whatever it is, let's just do what we can. It takes us. It takes us to do what we can to be the beneficial part of our communities. Do what you can and make it your own, and be true to yourself.
Be true to yourself. It's so important.
100%, because God
100%.
made you.
Yeah.
100%.
That's it. He didn't. He's not making replicas. He's making limited time edition.
Limited edition.
Limited edition.
One of ones.
That's it.
Yep.
Cool.
Right.
All right. Hey, if you I think this is gonna be on YouTube. I'm just spitballing here, but YouTube, Facebook, whatever. Like and subscribe. Follow. We're on Facebook. We are on Instagram. Evidently, we're starting a podcast. So
Here we are.
peace out, Boy Scouts.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
See you, everybody.
Bye.